Did the government erase Tartaria from the history? Is the government hiding an entire civilization from us? What if I told you that there was a time when people were living in peace, where the government wasn't corrupt, and people could explore their creativity to its limits to the point where they invented things that we are only just beginning to discover today? And what if I told you that this nation was so advanced that they were able to unlock the key to free energy? Free energy, a term used to describe energy that can be harnessed from the environment for absolutely free. It would change the world forever. No more expensive electricity bills. No more wars over oil. No more pollution. Free energy would change everything. And so it's no surprise that those who benefited most from the lack of free energy fought tooth and nail to keep it suppressed. But let's get back to the Tartarians. The Tarterians were said to be a civilization that lived in a place called Tartaria. Now you might be thinking, wait a second, isn't Tartaria a region in Russia? Well, yes, but the Tartarians were much more than just a regional group of people. They were a civilization that spanned multiple countries and lasted for centuries. Now, the exact origins of the Tartarian people are unknown, but it is believed that they originated from the Mongolian Empire. Under the leadership of Genghis Khan, after his death, his grandson, Guyuk Khan, united the tribes under one banner and created the largest contiguous land empire in history. By 1220, all of Mongolia was united, and soon after, the Tatars began expanding their empire. At its peak, it stretched from Eastern Europe to the Pacific Ocean. But it wasn't just a military empire, it was a cultural one too. During the Golden Age of the empire, which lasted from about 1220 to 1320, the Tartarians were known for their art, their literature, and their scientific achievements. They had a strong emphasis on education and encouraged the free exchange of ideas. This led to many great inventions and innovations during this time period. In fact, historians believe that the Tartarians were responsible for inventing gunpowder, the magnetic compass, and even the steam engine. These inventions and innovations helped to propel the Tartarian Empire to become one of the most powerful and influential civilizations of its time. They were a peaceful people who believed in the equality of all humans. They had no slaves, and everyone was free to practice their religion without persecution. The Tartarians also had a deep respect for nature and believed that humans should live in harmony with the environment. They were some of the first people to start talking about sustainable living and renewable resources. But not everyone was happy with the Tartarian way of life. The neighboring kingdoms and empires were threatened by the Tartarians' power and influence. They were jealous of their wealth and their culture and wanted it for themselves, so they formed a coalition and attacked the Tarterian Empire. Now, before we go any further, I need you to understand something. The story of Tartaria is not a myth. It's a real place that really existed. But the mainstream narrative has done a great job of erasing it from our collective memory. You won't learn about Tartaria in school. You won't find it in most history books. It's as if Tartaria never existed. That's because the powers that be want to keep it that way. The story of Tartaria is a threat to the status quo. It shows us a world where people can live together in harmony and achieve great things when they work together. It's a vision of the future that we can all strive for. But the powers that be don't want us to see that there is another way of living. They want us to believe that their way is the only way. So why are they so afraid of the story of Tartaria? One reason could be that Tartaria represents a world without corruption. A world where the leaders serve their people and make decisions that benefit everyone. It's a world where there is no poverty or inequality. It's a world that we all want to live in. But the powers that be are afraid of this world. They fear that if people see that there is another way of living, they will demand change. They will demand a world that is more like Tartaria. Another reason the powers that be are afraid of the story of Tartaria is because it represents a world without war. Tartaria was a peaceful nation that believed in the equality of all humans. They didn't have an army or weapons of mass destruction. They didn't believe in killing each other. And that's a threat to the status quo because the powers that be benefit from war. They make money from war. They get more power from war. War is their business. But Tartaria shows us that there is another way. A way without war? A way without killing each other? The thing is, we are the majority. We are the people. And the powers that be, they are the few. We have the power to create the world we want to live in. We have the power to end war and poverty. We have the power to create a world that is more like Tartaria. If you feel like the world is going crazy, if you feel like things are getting worse and worse, don't worry. The story of Tartaria gives us hope. It shows us that there is a better way. A way where everyone can live together in peace and harmony. A way where we can use our creativity to make the world a better place. That's the story of Tartaria. And it's a story that we need to remember.